Well, alrighty. So we got to talk about Snow White once again. We just got to talk about Snow White once again. And good old Miss Rachel Zegler, who has successfully pissed off every single person across the aisle, whether it be the feminist or the movie centrist or the toxic fandom, as they call them, and so on and so forth. She seems to have pissed off every single person with some of the words that she's been putting out there, some of the things that she's been saying on a consistent basis, which I'm not going to be rehashing. Now she's making the rounds again for something that happened at the Oscars yesterday. Now, interestingly, before the Oscars, I noticed something, that the ticket sales for the Snow White movie that is about 3 weeks or less than 3 weeks away to be released, it's not being sold. It's not being sold. The ticket sales are not out there. So it seems like Disney is doing the exact same thing that they did with the last trailer, where they kind of like hid it for about a week or thereabouts after it had been released in theaters, because they didn't want that, a flock of, what do you call it, backlash, or in terms of ratioing on YouTube. So they didn't release it for a while. Yet, when it came out, it still received a lot of backlash and a lot of ratioing, because the previous one had received well over 1 million dislikes on YouTube. So it seems like this is the kind of thing that they were avoiding. And even now, a person like Grace Randolph even noticed that these ticket sales are not going out. And her theory seems to actually make a little bit of sense, that they are probably trying not to put it out there to discourage people, in the sense that there will be a lot of people out there who will be looking at their own theaters where they want to go and watch it and start photographing the seats to show that nobody is buying these tickets. So they're trying to hold off as long as they possibly can to actually put those tickets out there. Now, is this going to affect the sales? It probably might, because Disney is really in it when it comes to the sales of this particular movie. Now, initially, Forbes had reported on the costing of this movie, saying that it was $269.4 million to make this movie. However, Disney tried to beat that down using, other outlets, shields like the Collider, Screen Rant, Movie Web, all owned by the same company, reporting, it's just over 200 million. And now, finally, Screen Rant has finally come out just about a couple of days ago that it is about $240 million in production, which I still don't believe, essentially, because if they actually announce what's real by what Forbes has announced, and the reason why Forbes announced it is because this movie was shot in England, and because they have to report their earnings and their spendings due to the tax breaks that they will be getting in England, they need to report it. That's why Forbes reported on it. Now they're telling us it's $240 million. What is the difference between that? Well, essentially, if it's $240 million, then it would mean that the cost was less than Aladdin. It was less than Lion King. It was less than The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid is about $250 million. Aladdin is about $245 million or thereabouts. Whilst The Lion King from 2019, the original one, not the Mufasa recent one, is about $260 million. So if this is $269 million, and you look at those movies, their sales, Aladdin made over $1 billion, and so did The Lion King from 2019, also made over $1 billion. But Woke Ariel made 500 million, and now this one that proves to be even more expensive is probably not even going to hit that, because they're already projecting that its first week it's going to make about $48 to $65 million, but most people are sitting on $55 million for its first week. And if that happens and it loses 70% of audience by the next week, it's definitely not going to hit $500 million, which is well over what it needs to actually recoup, not to make a profit, but to recoup what they've actually spent on this. Me personally, I've always said they should have just thrown Snow White into, the streaming service, pretty much like they did with Pinocchio. However, that's a story for another day. In any case, you guys, recently, just yesterday, more PR nightmare for Disney with Rachel Zegler. Rachel Zegler and Gadot had to come out yesterday to make a presentation at the Oscars, and the scenes were just really, really, really awkward, really, really funny. Let's just have a look at the scene right here, because the rumor is that these two are not seeing eye to eye, and we know why, because Gal Gadot right here, she's an Israeli, so obviously she's going to be pro-Israel where it concerns the Israel-Palestine conflict. Whereas this girl right here, who have no understanding of what's really going on, in my opinion, that's just my opinion, she might have more understanding than I do, is having a pro-Palestinian stance. And regardless of the fact that her co-star on the same movie is an Israeli, what she could have done, especially because of the fact that they're on the same movies, try to hold a neutral standpoint. But, you know, when it comes to these woke people or activists or how they see themselves as activists, they're not real activists, of course. She had to speak on it. And speaking on it, she was kind of like taking shots at Gadot, and it seems like there has been a feud between the two of them. So, with that being said, let's have a look at this video and see how both of these two people reacted on coming out yesterday to come and give an award at the Oscars. So let's check this out.
Please welcome Rachel Zegler and Gadot.
What the hell is that walk? What the hell is even that? I mean, she looks like Ed McMahon walking out in WWF or WWE, as they call it today. I mean, look at the way she's just like, is that a new feminist walk? Please let me know. Because I mean, all sorts of crazy things happen with all these walksters these days. So feminists, let me know. Is that how you walk these days? Is that like a boss lady walk? I don't know. It seems like she was trying to run in there and run out as fast as she possibly can. No chemistry between these two people at all. Look at that. And just look at Gadot, man. She's so graceful. Look at, like, you would know this woman has some decorum training, you know, and all that. She's just elegant. She's just graceful, man. Meanwhile, she's out here just throwing her hands around. I don't want to hold nobody. I'm the boss here. I'm the boss lady here, or whatever. No eye contact whatsoever.
Visual effects push the boundaries of what we see on screen.
Their work makes the impossible seem possible.
With breathtaking ambition, they
Now, normally, I've seen a lot of people who are starring in the same movie that is about to come out or has already come out, come give awards like this. And usually what would happen from back in the days when I used to watch these things is they would make references to their movies. They would joke about it or, you know, make fun of each other, have some poke, you know, something, poke at each other or something. But with these people, it's just straight into it. Straight into it. I don't even know why they decided to do it, because this is another PR nightmare disaster for Disney, in my opinion. Absolutely another PR nightmare.
Create magic that wraps its arms.
Did you notice? Did you guys notice that? Did you guys see that? Look, check this out. Check this out. Look at her face. She's gnashing on her teeth. She's gnashing on her teeth. I don't know if you guys can see that, but let me enlarge this a little bit so you can see a little bit more. You can see that. You can see that. Look at that. She's gnashing like, just get me out of here. Just get me out of here. Right, so she's gnashing on her teeth really, really badly. You can tell that these two people don't see eye to eye at all.
Around our wildest imaginations.
Here are the nominees for Best Visual Effects.
Yeah, so that's it pretty much. So people are talking about this, and there is a little bit of a report here that I really want to get into. Rachel Zegler and Gadot didn't even look at each other while presenting at the Oscars amid feud. So there's a little bit of a confirmation there amidst feud. And some experts are actually talking about this. So the Snow White co-stars are known for their starkly different political opinion, especially on the Israeli-Palestinian humanitarian crisis, with Gal, who has been slammed for her pro-Israel stance in the past, and Rachel advocating for free Palestine. Why wouldn't she have a pro-Israel stance? She's from Israel, right? And it's a war. It's a conflict between these two people. I mean, when it comes to these two people, it depends on what political aisle that you stand. You could make an argument for both sides. And to be honest with you guys, you can make an argument for both sides. So they can slam her all they want, but she's an Israeli, and so she's going to stand with her people, especially after what happened on October 7th. Will give her actually a bit more justification to stand with her own people. The Disney film was controversial from the onset of the casting, as many activists online called for a distinct boycott when Israel-born Gal Gadot was handed the role. So they've already offended some people there with the casting of Gal Gadot. Rachel seems to somewhat support their sentiments when, after thanking fans for the support of the movie trailer, she posted, "And always remember, free Palestine." Now, this girl just does not know what it means to be a star in a particular movie or show or how to market. She's just an absolute PR nightmare, like I've said many, many times before. I mean, she has very little to no training whatsoever, no coaching on how to actually carry yourself when you're representing a movie. So since then, speculations about their interpersonal relationship ensued amongst fans. Body language expert Judy James told the Irish Star that at the Oscars, not much bound the two together. She said, these two women effectively came out on stage separately. Walk-ons normally involve hand-holding or subtler tie signs to exchange, but Rachel marched out ahead with her arms swinging while Gadot clutched at her fuller skirt. Yeah, and you should have said classically, you know, in a classy way, clutched at her skirt. You should have said it that way. But yeah, it's just like I told you guys. They didn't even make any reference to whatsoever them both being part of a same movie or making any reference to that movie. I mean, they could have made a reference to that, you know, kindness scene where, you know, you're being, I never knew you to be so opinionated and so on and so forth. So maybe there is no acting there, but the casting was just wrong from the onset because there's no way a Gal Gadot can be jealous of, you know, a Rachel Zegler. So Jodie further recognizes that the duo's mega height difference might contribute to the lack of glances. No, that's not it. But also pointed out that Rachel's performed a close-lipped beam with her head held back while Gal spoke. I noticed that too, and I said it to you guys too. I noticed too. Fiddling with her nails during the second piece, adding, Gal looked away and down and only quickly turned her head to glance once at her co-star. So you can see, yeah, she didn't even glance here in that photo. In any case, they continued to give no signals between each other. As the awards were handed out, they stood with a reasonably large spatial gap between them, pulling very large body languages poses, Judy noted. Gal even walked away off the stage ahead of Rachel, who paired off with one of the winners. So that part I probably didn't see in the clips. And like I told you guys, I didn't watch this. I'm sick of these people giving themselves a pat on the back for making and giving us bad movies over the last couple of years. So I've actually stopped watching the Oscars. And I think that's Zoe Saldana or something. I saw one of her clip winning an award for one of the most horribly made movie. I don't even know what that's, something Perret or whatever the name of that movie was. One of the most horribly made movies ever. Got an award, obviously. Yeah, so fans backed up Judy's thoughts. You can tell they hate each other. One wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter. Another added, did anyone notice Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot were standing apart and didn't even look at each other the whole time they were on stage? Absolutely. Now, neither actress has publicly expressed their potential divide. However, Rachel did speak to why she felt moved to speak up about the ongoing crisis in Gaza. She previously told Variety, I can't watch children die. I don't think that should be a hot take. I'm only responsible for what I feel, and I'm only responsible for how I act upon it. We're nearing 1 year since the horrendous attack in Israel on October 7th, but I've been following this conflict for so many years. So she's just disregarded what happened on October 7th, which happens with most of these pro-Palestinian activists. They try to, you know, ignore the terrorist act of Hamas of October the 7th, right? And then they just move on to whatever Israel is now doing in retaliation to what happened in October the 7th. Like so many people, I'm so heartbroken by the loss of life that we're seeing with these insane death tolls coming out of both regions. Oh, at least she mentioned coming out of both regions. So at the end of the day, there's still another disaster for Disney, as it were. This is just absolutely ridiculous, as it were. So Disney, they're projecting that this movie is going to see about $55 million in its first weekend. Maybe they are trying to under-project because this is something that they've been doing in recent times so that they can actually make this movie look like it's a success. Even if it makes $1 million more than what they are projecting, you would see all the headlines will say it's doing better than we projected. It's doing better than everybody projected, pretty much like they are doing with Captain America right now. And what is Captain America doing right now at the box office? About $15 million or thereabout. It's flopping. It's not going to recoup the money that it needs to make because it needs to make about $750 million if the true sales or the true amount of money they spend on that movie is actually being considered. And even if the fake amount is being considered, it still needs to make over $500 million, at least make more than the Ant-Man movie. But it doesn't seem like it will, because it's still in that $300 mark and its run is almost over. So same thing is going to be happening here. I just thought that this was an interesting thing to actually address. What do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about Gal Gadot's reaction towards Rachel Zegler? And do you guys think that this actually has helped towards the sales of this movie? Remember, they are still hiding the tickets, as it were, 3 weeks to the movie. Why Disney is doing that is anybody's guess. But you guys let me know what you think about this whole thing in the comment section below. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, ding that bell for notification, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care, peace, and signs out. Bye-bye now.